Hello and welcome back to Wake Up Movie Bros, where we're going to be talking about Midsommar today. Midsommar is a horror film that came out in July of this year. I was really hoping to see it in theaters. I never got around to it, and I finally got to watch it last night, right at 4 o'clock in the morning. And the reason why I decided to make this video is spoilers and everything we're going to talk about, kind of in a discussion, is the simple fact that it was an amazing movie. It was beautiful, it was groundbreaking, and I just figured I need to sit down and I need to talk to you guys personally and not put it up in like a wrap-up video, which I'm going to be doing later on today, of talking about some of the other movies I've seen this year that I've yet to be able to sit down and make an actual sit-down video with you. And so today we're just going to be talking about Midsommar. Midsommar is about two people, is about a couple named Danny and Christian who are in a rocky path right now. Danny's parents had just committed suicide. It was very graphic, very nice, very hauntingly beautiful, and Christian is going on a trip with his best friends, Mark, Philly, and I can't think of the other guy's name, but he's from The Good Place. They're going to Sweden to celebrate a 9-day festival all about this religious thing for the guy that I can't remember his name. He's doing his thesis in college about it. So that's basically the setup of the movie. You go with them, you travel with them to Sweden, and then things kind of going weary when they get to Sweden slowly by slowly. Nothing too big, nothing too like grand or graphic or anything happens until the hour point. None of this movie got spoiled for me, which I was very grateful for. I stayed away from the internet for it, and it is one of my more anticipated movies of the year. And luckily enough, the two most anticipated movies I've had this year so far have been my favorite movies of the year, so that's pretty cool. I've had a few favorite movies this year, and I really have to make a list of that. But with Midsommar, it was interesting because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. My first round as Ari Aster was Hereditary, which I thought was a very well crafted, okay movie. Was not a huge fan of it as much as other people were. There was elements of it that I really liked, but overall, as a director, I was like, he's an amazing director. So with Midsommar, he had a cast that I really enjoyed outside of this type of movie. I'm not the biggest Toni Collette fan. I know, sue me. But with this, I love Florence Pugh. I've seen quite a few of her other movies. Christian, who I can't think, but he is from a very, very not underrated kind of bad YA film that I really liked, and so I was excited to see him in a different light. I love Chidi, from The Good Place. And then Will Poulter is always fun if he's given the right material. And they're all given the right material here. The Sweden guy, I don't know what he's from. I'm pretty sure he is a named actor, though. Philly. And it is a story, essentially a movie about a breakup, in which I'm happy that I knew that going in, because the movie is crafted around this relationship that is on a rocky path, and Danny, who personally I've never felt closer to, because I feel the same way she does in relationships, of where I believe I'm just bagging down the boyfriend that I have or whatever, at that moment with crap they can't deal with and things I need to deal with, but I think they should be there to deal with. And it's all messed up and it's all bad, and it's scary and it's sad, and this movie made me cry right off the bat. Then I cried like 2 or 3 other times throughout the movie. It was beautifully haunting. The scenes of violence, which we're going to get to in a second, are amazing, and I can't wait to really discuss them in whole. The movie is a slow burn that I wish was slower. It's so weird. I normally don't like slow burn movies. I'm be talking about this again in a future video about Joker. Me and my brother are going to record that discussion video tonight. I don't know when these are going to go up. I'm going to try to get them up kind of very quickly. But and when discussing Joker, it's also a very slow burning movie up until the last like 20 minutes. Well, this is a little different, as there are cases. It's kind of like how I write a book, where I have like they're like bullet points I'm hitting or whatever. Joker is it's not so much bullet points, but it's more like a story elevation. Here, it's more of like they're hitting bullet points of perfectness. It's a masterpiece. The directing by Ari Aster, I've never seen anything prettier in my life. I don't think it's one of the most hauntingly beautiful horror films I've ever seen. But it's not for the faint of heart. The violence here is graphic and it's visceral and it's disgusting and it's hard to sit through. But is it worth it? Completely. Did I think it crossed the line? I never felt that. I think I'm just so desensitized to gore, and I think the parts that cross the line are the human parts, the human attributes of the suicide in the beginning and how it's done by gases of cars. I think that right there was more haunting than when the guy jumped off and his leg got broken. I don't know about you, but I cried during the moment of her parents committing suicide and the feelings that she had and the reasons why, more than I cared about any of the characters actually when they got to Sweden. And the tears in Sweden were mostly depicted towards Dani herself, as the actress Florence Pugh did an amazing job developing a character that was so, like, it was really well written. She was amazingly acted, and the character of Dani herself was beautifully well realized, and I really, really enjoyed seeing it on screen. I can't wait to watch it again. I'm watching it again later on tonight because I just have to. I have to experience it for a second time today. Um, but it's one of those movies that's going to sit with me for a long time because of a few different reasons. The ritualistic sex scene was graphic, but also really fake. I don't know if that's done on purpose or is that done by editing. I have yet to see the extended cut. I don't want to buy it on iTunes. It's the problem, but it's only on iTunes right now, and so I might have to cave. Maybe I can rent it. I don't know. But I really want to see what the extra 30 minutes add, as I really enjoyed the slow burn of this movie. But Christian and the sister sex scene was extremely graphic, and it was unexpected, and it was like, whoa, so much is going on. And Danny's reaction to it was visceral and amazing, leading up to the death of Christian, breaking off this relationship that's been going on for 4 years, actually accompanying a 4-year relationship into a breakup. There is cheating. It's like a romantic film with violence, basically, is how I describe it. There's a lot of different imagery here, such as when Quinn, which is one of the other people they meet on this trip, has his back splayed open and he's opened up like wings. That was utterly, hauntingly beautiful. I loved it so much. Most of the shots here are beautiful. The fact that Sweden, especially in this place, if it's real, I'm pretty sure it is, all these rituals are based off of actual rituals in real life. But Sweden, which is completely in the daylight, which is amazing. Now we're gonna get down to the characters. I mentioned Dani a lot, and so I'll mention her briefly here. Like I said, I really liked her growth. It is her movie. The camera mostly focuses on her, which I really like seeing it from her point of view, since she is going to become this magnificent person from the land. And I really like that development. Kristen here was an asshole going forward. He wasn't so much of a bad guy in the beginning, more towards the end. I do know that in the extended cut, just based off articles and stuff that I've got to read, he is much more of a jerk in that movie than he is here. But he was a pretty big jerk towards the last, I'd say, hour of the movie. Cheating, which is, I can't think of his name, but he's the other Fred. He's the reason why they go on this trip. He was a very centered character, which I enjoyed. Also, he was a character that his ending was ambiguous. We know that he's very in the crops, and that's something they used to plant with. But we also know, we're not really sure what happens. I do like the idea of him going there and studying and doing research. I do like how it kind of led to his death, essentially. Then we have Mark, which is played by Will Poulter, who essentially was a big asshole, but I've had friends like this before. Careless, not very sensitive, people who are just there to have a party, to go, have sex with the beautiful women. I've had friends exactly like this, and he was the definition of all these people I'm describing. And he played it very well. It's a character that Will Poulter has played before, and over again, he does make me laugh. He was the laughing point of this movie. I do have to say the jokes and stuff did get kind of sparse towards the end. And this movie isn't really made to make you laugh. It's made to make you just feel it and be in the moment. But yeah, so that's Mark. Billy, which is the person who is from this town, who did know all this stuff was going to go on. He was interesting. He didn't do enough. He was the one character that was a little disappointed with throughout the movie. He was there to provide messages and do things, but I do wonder if a lot of his extra scenes got cut on the cutting room floor due to it being 3 hours and 2 minutes long. I want to see that cut. I can't wait to watch it. I'm very, very excited to watch the extended version of this movie. But moving on over into the actual people in Sweden, they do have some names, but we're going to more talk about the ritualistic people. So there's 2 people who come out of this home, in the back, which we end up knowing that it gets burned down with Christian and Bearsuit. We'll get there. Since now we're going to talk about the violence. Sweden itself is beautiful. The people, the culture, everything was a little weird. And I have to say it's a little off-putting, but I think it's supposed to be. So I like the fact that it was a little off-putting. But with the visceral violence, there's a few scenes depicted. There's the suicide in the beginning, which is haunting. It's not so much graphic, and it's not gory. It's just really haunting and done very, very, very well. And then we have the few ritual scenes that happen. So, Mark is skinned alive. That's off screen, but we do get to see his skin several times throughout the rest of the movie. Quinn is made into a butterfly, which is beautiful, also off screen. We do end up getting to see it though. Christian is drugged and placed inside a bear and burned alive. Two other characters are burned alive as well. And then two characters that are like, there's the brother of Billy, Egmar, and then also a character that I'm not really familiar with throughout the movie. I'm sure I'll be more familiar since I know his outcome now. And then we also have the jump, which I think is the point in the movie where you're like, oh my god. I was expecting something a little bit more, because I heard rumors. These two people jump off this cliff to sacrifice themselves to be reborn inside the babies that are being born today. It's like this age-old thing, you turn 75, you die, type of thing. And the first one, the girl hits her face and it explodes into gory. And honestly, it's gory. It's gore-for. Okay, it's amazing. I love it so much. The second one, he ends up not actually hitting the rock, breaking his leg into several different places, and having his head smushed in by a big brick and stick by like 12 people. It was great as well. The sound here, this movie has a lot to play with, the camera work and then also the performances, but also the score. I don't tend to love scores, but this score was hauntingly beautiful. It was so good. But overall, if you guys want any more, I don't know, I like the messages. I think I would have to make a second video dedicated to Midsommar about those messages after I see it a few more times. I want to see it at least 2 more times to really take notes and really dive into the story. I definitely can tell where this is a breakup movie from through to through, and I'm curious to see what other people have thoughts about since I can watch those videos. But overall, I think this is a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 masterpiece for me. I loved it so much. It was one of my favorite movies of the year, let alone one of my favorite horror movies, I think, of all time. Hopefully, maybe, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please maybe give it a thumbs up, don't comment down below, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time for another beautiful, lovely video. Thank you for watching, and bye.